Alright, this is our real thoughts on Osmosis Jones, which after seeing the Nostalgia Critic review we're doing this week, I have nothing but praise for this movie. I'm not going to say what we're reviewing this week.
I have a summer cold, but...
It was pretty tough to get through, so...
yeah.
But,
yeah.
But even before seeing this piece of shit, Osmosis Jones, honestly, with the exception of the live action stuff, it almost works. I kind of felt bad trashing it at some point.
If you take the live action stuff out of it, it's not that bad of a movie.
It
works in a kind of teenage magic school bus kind of way, like...
Yeah, and some of the jokes actually are clever. Some of the, environments are clever and the designs and stuff like that.
Animation isn't bad. I thought the animation was interesting. I didn't hate Chris Rock as Osmosis. I didn't hate any of the voice cast.
Yeah, I mean, the actors really are fine. But the big thing for me, we'll get to all the live action shit in a minute, but just the animation part itself, which was done by different people, I tried to emphasize that in the review, is that, for me, the big thing that dragged it down was the cop cliches. Which is like, okay, if you're gonna do the cop cliches, have fun with them, go goofy, go really big or mock them or whatever, but when it's really...
They didn't bother me as much as they bothered you. I will say this, if you're going to do it, then have more fun with it.
Yeah, go...
I felt like they kind of just were like...
cliches.
I felt like they were kind of just saying, here's a bunch of cop cliches, but they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's like they weren't like, hey, and here's how we're making fun of it, or here's how we're doing something different. It's like, no, when he's gonna mope and dope because he's kicked off the case, he's gonna mope and dope. And he has to convince the partner to come back, and it's like, none of it's funny, none of it's new, nothing's creative about it.
I guess it didn't bother me all that much, but maybe that's because the live action stuff was so terrible that the cop cliches in the animation I thought were a godsend, by comparison.
No, this is one that I think, some people are saying that there's a fan base for it, which doesn't shock me, honestly.
Now, if you try to tell me you love the live action portions of this, I'm gonna have to be like, what? But if you tell me you like the movie overall as a whole and thought it was an interesting,
that wouldn't shock me.
Because the animation's the best thing about it, by far.
And even the creativity behind it. I mean, there's a lot of little jokes in the background, in the foreground, and so I mean, it's clever.
Yeah, it's kind of a poor man's gritty magic school bus. I always love the idea of being shrunk down and going inside a human body, kind of like Fantastic Voyage or something. So,
I like the little piece in the middle ear, the little our founder and it's a sperm and stuff like that. It's legitimately clever stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's when you have to get to the actual story, which even then the story just of this disease trying to kill, the city of Frank, which, I mean, that's funny, too. They talk about Frank like he's a city. Though
I have to wonder, wouldn't it be to them that Frank is the planet? Considering the size?
Well, no, because there's other, they can transfer to different parts and people and stuff like that.
Then wouldn't Frank be a country? I just feel like, given his size...
Maybe. That could make more sense. There would be, various cities in Frank.
Having a Bob's Burgers moment. Oh my god, why am I analyzing this?
And with your cold, you can do that voice a lot better, too.
Lana!
Ages out. It's one of those movies where it's watching it, I was like, I'm almost liking it. You had to get through a few painful puns, but like I said, the big thing for me, even if you took out the live action, was the
puns were lame, but they were mostly harmless.
There were some that worked. There were some that
there were some that worked.
Funny,
they were mostly harmless. The only time where I started just flipping my shit is Kidney Rock. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
Christ.
No, and it's really
you gotta throw Kid Rock in this fucking movie. Come on.
Yeah, no, that shit was painful. But no, and I take it back. That shit was nothing compared to the live action stuff that the Farley Brothers directed.
Oh, God.
The Farley Brothers did not have much, if any, connection to the animated stuff at all, and it shows when you cut back and forth. And there's just no connection in tone between these two.
No, and the original concept, I guess, was it was gonna be something like 5 to 10 minutes tops of live action. And yeah, then the fairly whatever brothers got involved, and from there it ballooned into this whole other giant movie.
Well, because this was shortly after There's Something About Mary, and they were a big name by then, I think.
Yeah, I guess this would have been that
it was like 2 movies after There's Something About Mary, I think. I took a look. I mean, it was pretty close.
If you look at like the original draft and idea, it's like it would have been mostly animation, 5 to 10 minutes of live action, and I still don't think, given what we got on screen with the animated stuff, it would have been a great movie, but it would have been good and a hell of a lot better than this, because just when you're getting into the animated stuff, it keeps cutting back to Bill Murray popping a zit or some shit.
Yeah, and being really unlikable. I mean, like, there's the loser, bum, whatever, trying to get his life back together, but he is so annoying and unlikable in this movie. And I love Bill Murray. I mean, he's one of my favorite people to watch, and
Bill Murray's one of my favorite comedic actors, and I just... so miserable to watch it, and I don't even get where they were going. Like, the whole backstory about Osmosis Jones and not being able to defeat the bacteria and the oysters or whatever that made him barf on Molly Shannon. I'm like, so was he normal before that? And if so, why is he so insanely slobby now? Like, none of it made sense.
Yeah, no, and you can tell, like,
so was he always slobby? Was it, like...
No, like, they showed him as, like, this, pretty, like, successful guy. He has, like, a suit and everything, and he's charming and everything, but then as soon as he does that thing where he pukes on the woman, which, don't get me wrong, I mean, I can see that having an effect for a while, but I mean, to destroy your life. I mean, he was a nobody.
Well, and the funny thing is that 2 minutes of Bill Murray acting more normal at the science fair was more interesting than all of Bill Murray in the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know, if you're gonna do that, I don't know why they didn't just make him Bill Murray. Honestly, this movie may have been funnier if his name was Bill and it was just supposed to be Bill Murray.
Yeah, no, like he's going to a Hollywood event or something like that, like he doesn't treat himself well. Do like what they did with
doesn't treat himself well, like, well, I guess you couldn't do that in a kid's film, like snorting lines of Man, the drugs are messing up the city of Bill.
But I will say, the big thing that, we were noticing watching it, which is like, I mean, I don't know, it's pretty hard to argue, was how much of this made it into Inside Out. I mean, especially the circular room where they're talking, the microphone controlling his thoughts. I mean, I'm just like, whoa, this is getting a little weird. And then the movies being the dreams and the subconscious and stuff. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, I
mean, it goes around. Futurama, the Futurama episode with the worms building a civilization in Fry's gut, I think came out the same year as Osmosis Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. The whole point, I think, is that it doesn't matter where the ideas come from, it's how you execute it.
Yeah, what you do with it.
Obviously, Inside Out executed it well, and this, not as much.
Yeah, like it has
may have had a chance if they had more time to develop the animated parts, but since you have to keep cutting back to that bullshit, like...
Yeah, I think it had some good ideas. I think it had, and again, there's stuff to admire about it. I think when we were filming this, Tamara was like, okay, just for the record, I really like this movie. And we were like, no, fair enough. We were saying the cartoon's fine. We were like, the live action was pretty bad though, right? I mean, everyone's in agreement with that. She's like, yeah, everyone pretty much hates live action stuff.
Well, can you imagine if you had taken it out? You would have had more time. Thrax would have been a more interesting villain. You would have had time
he looks cool, he has a cool voice, but he barely says anything.
Voice, yeah. And I'm like, this guy would be badass, and he's a disease. His goal is to kill him, and then he's like, and then next I'm gonna go for his daughter, and then all these. I'm like, this is fucked up.
Yeah, this could be a cool
This
villain.
Would be a great villain, but there's no time to really develop him. Same thing with Osmosis Jones. They do that backstory, but it doesn't really make much sense.
You barely see him in the backstory. I'm not even sure really how he failed.
There was, in the original cut, apparently, like, some of Osmosis Jones, like, his family or something was sucked out in a blood test or something. Like, so, and I'm like, that would have been amazing. Like, there's all this stuff you could have had in the animated part of the story that they didn't do because you had to keep cutting to Farrelly Brothers bullshit. And I mean, it's bullshit. It's not even, it's like grade F comedy stylings. It's not even like, and I like There's Something About Mary. I like parts of Dumb and Dumber.
I like Kingpin, yeah.
But even on some of their lower movie levels, this is about as bottom of the barrel as it gets for me. I'm like...
I can't say because I have not seen their more popularly hated movies, except maybe Dumb and Dumber 2, which I didn't hate. But yeah, there are so...
Well, and the acting, just like, well, back when your mother
your mother didn't die. Rest her soul.
Yeah, God rest her soul. Your mother didn't die. She just got sick. I'm like, what? I can't. Is this supposed to be an emotional scene, or is he just being a jackass? And then at the end, like, I feel terrible saying it, but she's so heartbroken over this, and I'm just like, really, kid, you might be better off. He's just such a.
He's so unlikable.
Yeah, and I didn't feel any sympathy because of that. And I'm like, he's dying, she's all upset, and I'm like, if I felt any sympathy for this character, like, this would be an upsetting scene, but it's not, because I'm like, just please die.
Gross out humor is not impossible to make funny, but in my opinion,
no, I know something about
so
did it pretty well.
It is so difficult to do, because a lot of it just involves around, ew, gross, and there's not much pain involved in it. To me, like, psychological or physical pain is much funnier than, oh, I'm covered in something nasty.
The barfing scene was ridiculous. The zit scene was ridiculous. For me, though, for some reason, where I lose is when he brings his foot up at the table at the seafood restaurant.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
And I'm like, because he barfed at the science fair, I guess now.
He does this. I mean, it makes no sense. And how, it's... I know they're going for a joke when they say, like, then he lost his job at the pea soup factory. Okay, I get it, because what he puked looked like green soup and pea soup, and people could be like, oh, he's, like, saying something or whatever, a bad image. But then you have to go to the sentimental and the heartfelt stuff, and it's like, this makes no sense why he would go from a pea soup factory to cleaning elephants at a zoo.
It's funny reading the interviews, because, like, some of the people on the animation side were like, oh yeah, the Farrellys are bringing so much to this story and this and that, and I can't tell if, like, they were serious or if this is, like, the studio made them say that, or it's Stockholm Syndrome, they just were so taken by shock, they're like, well, I guess it's gotta turn out good, right? Like, but it very much had this PR kind of feel to it, like, oh, we're so grateful to them, aren't we? Yes, right?
And it's so tough because I think the Farrelly brothers can do both really good comedy and sentimental stuff. Like, Kingpin, I thought, like, was legitimately kind of, like, sentimental and nice, and even elements of There's Something About Mary. So there is, you can feel for their characters, but it is so rare that it happens.
I haven't seen a really good film from them in a long time. Like, I gotta go back to those originals, like Kingpin, Something About Mary. Even Dumb and Dumber is just dumb, but I mean, it at least is mildly amusing.
I was thinking Dumb and Dumber 2 is, like, pretty much what you think it is. It's a sequel, and it's dumb, but I think, like, I didn't mind it, but if people hate it, I totally understand. But it's like, you gotta see that movie. Don't act like the first one's a classic. Don't do that. Don't act like, well, in the first one, they got it right. No, it's stupid,
just feel bad for
It's stupid. I love it, but it's stupid.
I just feel bad for the animation team, which is why I didn't want to talk much, particularly in the review. Like, we kind of don't address them as much because I don't want to drag them down with the live action part. Like, really, most of what sucked was the live action stuff. The only thing I will say is I had this... Watching it, there is something about the animation on Jones in particular that he always has this weird, sick grin going.
The Beetlejuice smile, yeah.
Yeah, it's like this creepy kind of rape face or something. It's like, if you pause it at random moments in this film, you'll find so many moments where it looks like he's doing something inappropriate.
Yeah, which I'm sure was part of, like, kind of like the gritty feel they were trying to go for a little bit, and it's like,
it came off as weird, particularly because he's got that row of, like, perfect teeth and like.
Yeah, but then you can see his gums a lot of the time, and the big eyebrows and everything. So it's like it would have been okay if he was more like a Beetlejuice
It felt like
character,
it almost belonged.
It
felt like it belonged in maybe something like Ren and Stimpy or something where, you could go over the top like that. But that's probably my only complaint. I honestly thought the rest of the animation was really solid.
Yeah, for the most part, it looked,
I think it could have used an even bigger budget.
Honestly, for what we got, I thought looked really good. Like, those cities and everything looked really nice.
I thought it looked good. I mean, maybe this is because we're looking at this now with hindsight being 2020 and we've got all the films out now. But that's not on the animators. I just feel like it's like, if that's what they could do with what they were given, I'm like, add 20 more minutes of animation, cut the live action stuff, and give them a bigger budget. I mean, this could have been really incredible looking.
Yeah, like, I still think it's pretty good looking.
Honestly, if there was a movie that I would like to see remade, this would be it. I would totally, if you do like either 2D, or I could see this easily as a CGI film, considering all like the parts of the body inside. Like, cut the live actions up. Like, I think it would be really entertaining if you're gonna remake a movie, which I generally don't endorse, but. Because this one had so many problems to begin with. I'm like, it's not like you took a perfect film.
Yeah, but you got a good idea with, with the pill and the white blood cell having a team. It's a funny idea. And
it's mildly educational.
Yeah, no, it actually is. And I think you could do it with, like, an edge where it's like, we're either going to really make fun of these cliches, or we're not going to do it, we're going to do something really clever, just trying to stop the disease, and not do any of this other stuff. Actually, I'm kind of with you. I think it would be an interesting remake, and there's a lot of actors you could cast and redo it with. See, that's always whenever people are like, look, they're remaking Drop Dead Fred, what do you think? I'm like, good, remake bad movies. Remake bad movies that have possibilities.
No, don't start that again, because there's people who like Drop Dead Fred, but...
Oh, no, okay, well, I mean, even the people... It's pretty... Really?
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Well, this is like when we were talking about the Seuss films, like, well, some people like Cat in the Hat, and I'm like, really? Yeah, so, no, there are some people who like Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, that was such a nightmare to get through.
I love the actors, I just think they were terrible in that movie, but...
Yeah, no, all the actors are good, but that's always what I'm saying, or they're saying, like, they're rebooting Garbage Pail Kids, what do you think about that? It's like... If there's a good idea there that was botched, please redo it and fix the problem.
No, I don't think we need to dig up Garbage Pail Kids ever.
I mean, I don't see the point, but I
think when you make the worst movie we've ever seen, don't do it again.
I don't see how you can make it worse, but I don't see how you can make a movie out of it either. But
you don't see how they can make it worse? You know what? The fact that you asked that means it's theoretically possible.
Now they're going to try.
Murphy's Law being one of the
worst film. So bottom line, we don't hate this movie. We almost kind of liked it. The animated portions, at least.
I liked the animated stuff. So.
Yeah, it was just... that's your phone this time! Ha 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 ha! You turn it off this time.
There we go.
But, it was...
I didn't realize my phone was in here.
There you go. But yeah, it's not the worst. It's nowhere even near, like, any of the tops or anything. It's, like, almost enjoyable, but... Yeah, the live action stuff, the cliches, and some of the lack of comedy, even in the animation stuff, it's kind of like, oh, come on, you could do this better. But, yeah, it's like there's parts where we're watching the film, and it's like we weren't even saying anything, like, I'm kind of sucked into this world.
Yeah,
and the colors and the way it looks.
I'm actually just enjoying the movie for what it is. That happens so rarely.
Yeah, it kind of takes us by shock. We're either, like, quiet because the film is giving us so little to work with, in a good way or a bad way.
In a bad way, we're quiet because we're just bored.
But in a good way because it's like
happened in the last one we just did. But Osmosis Jones, no, we were just quiet because it was like, it was a pretty decent animated film.
Like it almost works. That's our thoughts on that, and we will see you at the next one later.